Star Trek, the ultimate franchise. These are the podcasts of the Wakefield brothers. Their 16-year mission to watch every production, to seek out life lessons and new inspirations, to boldly watch like most fans have watched before. Welcome back to Temporal Directive, the Star Trek fan podcast, rewatching the entire franchise in chronological order. That's right, we're breaching our Temporal Directive once again to finish up our coverage of Lower Decks Season 5. I'm Gary.
And I'm Tom.
And we are again joined by our friend Grant. Welcome back.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah.
How exciting.
2025.
Yep.
We got flying cars, hoverboards. Oh, well, that's right.
The threat of nuclear war.
First terrorist attack today in America.
Yeah, New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Shit.
you know, and it's, what, the 2nd? Is it the 2nd today?
Yep.
Yeah, we're recording on the 2nd of January.
Oh, great.
So, you know.
We're on our way.
Well, let's focus on something positive instead. Let's talk about Lower Decks.
All right.
We had all the intentions to have this wrapped up before the end of the year and to have our additional episodes sort of released weekly as the series dropped, and best intentions, you know.
Don't always pay off. I know there's a saying.
There's
but
a
I don't
saying
fucking
there.
know.
But we tried. Life happens sometimes and shit gets in the way. So we've done what we can, but we didn't want to leave Lower Decks hanging. So we thought, let's get back together. Let's finish it off and do the last 3 episodes. So we are going to do it a little bit different this time. We're not going to talk through every scene like we usually do. We have borrowed the descriptions of the episodes, the recaps from trekmovie.com, where I get all my Trek news, just FYI.
All right. So I don't have to go to you for my Trek news anymore. I can just go to that
No,
website.
don't listen to me. Go to trekmovie.com.
Here I was thinking he was just full of information of Star Trek. He just steals it off some superior company.
This is not
that
a
a
paid
shock?
presentation.
No, we are not a trekmovie.com sponsored podcast. Although, you know what? Trekmovie.com, if you're out there and you're listening,
Contact Gary.
we're not opposed to it. But we're not going to stop the swearing, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
True.
All right, let's get into the first of the 3 episodes we've got to talk about today. So the first one we're going to talk about is episode 8, Upper Decks. It was written by Cullen Crawford and directed by Bob Suarez. Been a few weeks since we watched this one. Everyone remember it?
Yeah, I certainly do.
Good. As the Cerritos is parked in the rings of a planet,
What planet was it?
BHUNGAR.
Oh,
Bungar 5?
Bunga. Right, yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yep, that'll do.
They're there to study some Bagoon space creatures. The lower deckers take a break carving pumpkins, or, according to Tallinn, mutilating gourds, and listening to Mariner's tale of an off-screen adventure stuck in a painting. Yeah. They agree that all the cool stuff on the ship revolves around them, not the boring bridge crew.
It's good, isn't it?
It's true. That's how everyone thinks, right? They're the center of their own stories.
That's right.
Yeah,
They're the
exactly.
main characters of their own adventures.
Then we cut to the senior officer briefing where Ta'ana says she's found the cure for a pathogen that transformed Barnes into a futuristic cave woman. However, the doctor is cautioned there have been complaints about her lax approach to pain management. After some quick updates on engineering and security, Shax has to excuse himself after seeing a haunting vision. As they break up with a rousing, strong and brave, wise and true, that's what makes us Cerritos crew chant, Ransom heads off to handle the Bagoon. He escorts a gruff Grazerite? Yep.
Yeah, that'll do.
Starfleet specialist to the shuttle bay, where a group of bickering ensigns struggle to bring in a space cow, which freaks out, naturally cloaking and rampaging invisibly around the bay.
Have we seen naturally cloaking creatures before?
Yes. Wasn't those creatures in Star Trek Voyager the one with the Delta Quadrant, that xenophobic species? Oh, was that technological?
Yeah, it might have been techno, yeah.
Geomedark and Shroud.
The one with Geordie, I just thought of it. The one with Geordie where whatever creature he was turned
Where they
into.
turned blue. And
The veiny thing, that was, he could turn, they could turn invisible.
Yeah.
Jack tries to get things under control by gathering the eye-rolling ensign so that he can recount a tale from his past about impressing a commander by beating Big Wave Tommy in a surfing competition.
He's such a good character.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's great, isn't he?
Meanwhile, in his quarters, Shax is being taunted by a literal spectre of his past. You can't fight me because I am you. He meditates to astrally project straight into a Shax on Shax ghost fight.
Is this like his past, or is this from when he died and it's haunting him?
I imagine it's the Bajoran
occupation.
Yeah. And some of the atrocities that he would have had to have.
Yeah, that's right. Because I showed some of the atrocities, didn't I?
Yeah, some of the bodies around and the Cardassian stuff and
trying to reconcile that with his good conscience.
Yeah, it was done really well too, wasn't it? They've shown sort of stuff like this in the past in other episodes and stuff as well, throughout. But this was pretty good.
It's kind of Shax's way of dealing with the sins of his past, right? This is
It's also a good representation of how trauma can creep up on you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And
because it's been some time since the occupation.
Yeah, and that's it, that you carry it with you all the time, and that he has to sort of do this and meditate.
And you have to try to resolve it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I agree. As Shax battles himself in the waves of the Cardassians he has killed, each of the senior officers across the Cerritos are dealing with their own crises. In engineering, the calm turns to chaos when retrofitted plasma canisters look to explode, with Meredith literally roped in to help Billups prevent an overload. And if that wasn't enough, there is a Binar AI golem thing too.
So, can we mention something on how terrible Meredith's Australian accent is?
Yeah.
On this episode.
Yes.
I felt like we were talking like this the whole time.
Yeah.
Very stereotyped.
In sickbay, Ta'ana has had enough constructive criticism and tasks a reluctant Westlake to inflict increasing levels of torture onto the doctor so she can update her pain chart. You are going to fuck me up so I can feel some pain. See, I love this doctor. She swears like we do.
It's so
Now shut up and rearrange my guts.
I know. That was so good.
That was so funny.
It was so bad in the best way. She was so my favourite character. So good. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, she's so good. With the patience of a saint, the captain faces a morning filled with crew meetings that include a Barnes, still a bit cave woman, a sousaphone recital, a beautiful and horrifying fertility event, and Winger Bingston Jr.'s latest 7-act one-man play.
The trouble with being captain, really.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Each one of them was too much on its own.
Yeah.
Self-destruct.
Well, it's like being a parent to the whole crew, isn't it? You got to
Kinda. Yeah.
Yes, that is very good. Good job.
You need to show up for all of it.
Yeah, we'll put that on the fridge, Jimmy.
Just be like, oh, that deck just decompressed and blew out to space by accident.
Unbeknownst to them all, the Cerritos is being observed by an ominous lurking ship. The shuttle bay has only gotten more chaotic as more riled up cloaked bagoons smash everything up. Ransom tries to rally the ensigns again, but they only back away from his attempt to inspire them by doing curls with cargo containers. In the mayhem, the Starfleet expert gets jostled by a space cow, revealing something under his face. In the corridor, he runs into the captain, and we find out why the bagoons were so agitated by him. He's actually a clicket. Who? What? Have we seen these people before?
No, we heard about them earlier in the episode, but that was it.
In the staff briefing.
Yeah,
Right.
in the briefing.
They don't like to be
Complimented.
Yeah, right. So the clickets want the secret to the bagoon cloaking so they can take over the quadrant. And more clickets are beaming in, targeting the senior officers. You and your pathetic crew are no match for my infiltrators.
Now, they moved pretty bloody quick, didn't they? Like, they were taken over pretty quick. They
Yeah,
got
I
on
think
the
so,
ship quickly.
yeah.
Like, it was one of
They
the...
were everywhere.
Yeah, quickest invasions I've ever
Because
seen.
Wasn't it?
But I would imagine that a invasion in that time period would be quick. If there's no shields up,
Yeah, true.
like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just beam in like 300 people all at once?
Yeah, well, you would.
Like a
Absolutely.
1-to-1 ratio of whoever's on the
Yeah, that's
Cerritos
it.
that you're trying to take over.
One
right?
each. Go.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. If you can scan life signs, you know there's 20 people on the bridge.
Yeah.
Beam in 50 intruders.
Yeah.
You've doubled it.
Exactly.
Just,
There's
you
a
know.
perfect example of that. It's DS9, the Klingon War. You know, the Klingons are slowly beaming in on,
Yes.
on the bridge at like 4 at a time. And they're
4
just
at a time.
shooting them
Yeah,
before they could even raise a bat'leth.
exactly.
Yeah. Dumb, isn't it?
The captain is rescued by Cavewoman Barnes, dispatching clickets with her sousaphone. Ta'ana also leaps into action, ignoring a set to kill clicket phaser blast because she is past pain. Ransom is now sleeping off his workout, so Beta and Delta shifters work together to subdue more clickets. And the insects sent to Shax's quarter didn't stand a chance, as he took them for just a few more cardies to add to his corpse pile.
So good.
The captain makes it to the bridge, but there are just too many clickets, and their commander calls over the comm to gloat. Carol praises the insects on their invasion and also on their handsomeness, amazing breath, and more, as she has remembered the briefing that clickets can't handle compliments, so they beam away.
That's very original series sort of storyline.
Yeah, it
isn't
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah, that's it. You could just see William Shatner just up there doing exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
can't you? It would be great.
Things calm down across the ship once Billups is freed from a tube in engineering and is ready to tech more tech. In the shuttle bay, the Bagoon are escorted out, and Ransom sees his plan to unite the ensigns by acting like a doofus was successful. Carol returns to her packed schedule, only to be surprised that Stevens arranged to have her husband visit for a nice holodeck Paris anniversary dinner, which looks very reminiscent of the episode We'll Always Have Paris from Next Gen.
From Next
Yes.
Gen. Yeah.
Probably the same restaurant that Picard went to.
Yeah, I would say so.
Other senior officers adjourn to the bar to reflect on their day as the lower deckers emerge from their pumpkin party, apparently unaware of everything that has been going on. Mariner is particularly oblivious, and it takes a joke from T'Lyn to get Beckett to question her worldview that they alone are all the spice and glitter around here. And that's the episode.
Obviously, they didn't know that probably during the making of this episode that this was probably their final season, but I think for the third last episode they could have went with something a little bit better for us to remember by. But altogether, I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I just expected more, I guess.
I actually think the other way than you on this one.
Yep.
Because I think that if they hadn't, even if they had known that this was going to be the last episode before the 2-part finale, these characters that took center stage here haven't really had the chance to be the center focus yet.
Very true. I
So
didn't
giving
think about
them
it that way.
giving them the opportunity to really solidify some of their stuff before we wrap up was a good way of.
Yeah, I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, well, I think overall it was pretty good. Both sort of stand out the same. Both of what you're saying makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like sort of like we're coming to an end, so we need to do
No.
something big, like. So it was a bit more like a plain sort of episode. But it is good to see those characters in a little bit more depth and see like Ransom doing the whole, encouraging the crew, and that's why he's a bit more of a doofus than you'd think. That's why he's actually doing it, and things like that. That was really good. So it was a great episode, and there's very few episodes that I don't enjoy in this series.
Oh, same.
Yeah, because they're just a lot of fun. Most of them are just really enjoyable.
Yeah. What about a life lesson for this episode?
You're not the only one doing stuff. You're not the center of attention.
Yes, that's right. You might be the center of your own story, but you're not the center of the universe.
Yeah. That's it.
There's more than one part to make things work.
Yeah.
Yep, good.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Pain is good.
Well, that's more of a fetish for the Doctor, I'm pretty sure.
Build a tolerance.
Surprised her aunt Shax just didn't have it out on the holodeck.
The next episode we're going to talk about is the episode 9. So this is the second last episode of the series. And
probably
it was
the greatest.
called Fissure Quest. Written by Lauren Maguire. Directed by Brandon Williams. This episode was really unique in that I don't think we spent any time in the Prime Universe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not really, no. Not for the opening scene and the end scene, and that was it.
And we get to
The opening scene?
and we get to meet the real Curzon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much positive stuff in this episode.
Oh, it was
really great.
so fucking awesome.
This one is really a love letter to this era of Trek, right?
It was amazing. It was fantastic. They sat around the desk at first, at the table at first, and then went into it, didn't they?
Yeah, they were having Raktajino.
Yeah.
There's only a tiny little fraction of this episode takes place in the Prime Universe with the characters that we know.
Yeah.
And most of this episode takes place in an alternate universe.
In the alternates.
With characters
in multiple
we all
alternates.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, with plenty of different characters. And if you weren't
Which
a
is
Star
fantastic.
Trek fan, if you weren't a full-on Star Trek fan, you wouldn't have a fucking clue what was going on.
Not really.
No.
You wouldn't be
Completely out of it.
lost. It's really bonuses for those of us that are big fans.
Yeah.
But you don't need to know all that stuff to make the episode make sense.
And they explain it as well. Like
Exactly.
Lily, the warp drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They do explain it.
do a little bit of explanation, but they give an explanation as if you're a Star Trek fan. So when they say something like, Curzon Dax without, before he gave the symbiont to Jadzia, anyone who's watching would have no idea what that sentence really means.
No.
Yeah.
They just know that it's a symbiont life form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they don't know who Jadzia is, and they
No.
don't really know what that sentence means.
No.
And I say this because there was a guy at my old work who, when I was watching this animated series at work, had such a good job. And he was like, "What are you watching?" And I told him what I was watching, and I said it has a little bit more fun than regular Star Trek. I said because it takes a little bit of the piss out of itself, and I said it's a little bit more enjoyable. I just said, and he's like, I could probably get into that. He said, I've had a little bit of trouble getting into Star Trek, but that actually looks like it might be something I'd watch. So he was actually going to start watching the animated series, but he'd never really watched any other Star Trek. So him watching this wouldn't have a fucking clue who any of these people are and what was going on. So, it's just interesting is all.
He'd still know what was going on. There wouldn't be the glorious reaction that we get from being fans for such a long time.
Trek-rection.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. All right, let's get into the recap, will we?
Yep.
Again, thanks to trekmovie.com. The lower deckers are taking a break in the Cerritos bar. contemplating what Brad's transporter clone William Boimler would be up to if he weren't dead, which he isn't. Mm-hmm. Cut to Captain William Boimler of the USS Anaximander, working for a redacted organization in quantum reality 582.76, whatever that symbol means, on the hunt for whoever is trying to destroy the multiverse by creating all of those dimensional fissures we first encountered back in episode 501. He has a who's who multiverse crew with a T'Pol first officer, a Curzon security chief, and Surgeon Garak with his emergency medical holographic lover, Bashir, who is his husband in this universe.
That was brilliant.
It was so good.
Yeah. And the rest of the ship is manned by enthusiastic Harry Kims, who are excited to find a new one in an escape pod.
That was such a good moment, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
as Harry Kim beamed in, I was like, it's Harry Kim. And then
Yeah.
he's like, another Harry Kim.
Yeah, we have so many of them.
It was so great.
Yeah. But this one has 2 pips.
He does.
Yeah. Did we all notice that straight away?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah?
the first thing I looked
Yeah,
at
I know,
when he
right?
beamed in.
As soon as he beamed in. Good.
I was like, is he an ensign still?
I thought I was the only one that was looking.
No.
Oh, great.
And it's good that Garrett Wang can take the piss out of him.
Oh, yeah. Shall we take a moment to talk about the other characters we just mentioned as well? So T'Pol is from Enterprise, which we're currently rewatching in our actual chronology, which is interesting.
Yeah, who is married to Tucker? Fuck.
Trip Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
Who's
That's a
married to
spoiler
Tucker.
for you, right?
Well, yes, although when it was said, my brain went, hang on. And then I was like, actually, I may have already known that.
Right.
So, yes, it was a reminder spoiler, not so much a full spoiler.
Yeah.
Because when I heard it, I did have a moment. And then I was like, actually, now that I've heard it, I remember it.
We also talked about Curzon, who in this universe is a security chief, but Curzon Dax is a symbiont life form whose next iteration, when Curzon died in our Prime universe, went to Jadzia, and that's the Dax that we know.
Yep. One of the most amazing characters in Star Trek.
She's a fantastic character in Deep Space Nine.
Yes. Just a shame what happened.
It's
Yep.
terrible. Sure.
Another one killed by a Cardi.
Fucking Guardians.
I think that's what we should start calling the Paramount Board of Directors. Freaking Cardies.
But we don't really know Curzon. We know his name. We don't really know him.
No.
We know he's friends with Captain Sisko, and
We knew he died.
he
in a
loves Klingon.
Shuttlecraft accident, was it?
I think so.
Yeah.
And is obsessed with Klingon culture and has a really good relationship with Klingons.
Yeah.
Then we talk about Garak and Bashir. So Garak and Bashir have always been sort of queer-coded characters. And being a queer person myself, when they put this on screen and they were husbands, I was like, oh my God, this is a dream come true. Like, the way they acted in Deep Space Nine was like, if it was a different time, this would have been what they had done.
Exactly.
Right? Because their relationship was just like this. And I have, however, seen a lot of pushback online about these two characters being together from about making them gay instead of acknowledging that they've always been this way.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of
see
people
what you
saying,
mean.
I don't know why they're making these characters gay now.
Yeah. Well, you see, I kind of get that in a way. I mean, Garak, not so much. Like, Garak, you could say,
please.
yeah, Garak was gay the whole time. Like,
Dressmaker,
Like,
come on.
yeah,
Dressmaker.
and like his character,
Not to stereotype.
yeah, just
Haberdashery.
overall, Garak was fairly much a like could be that, but Dr. Bashir, on the other hand, he was also following the ladies quite a lot throughout the series.
One might say too much.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could, I suppose.
cop-
Because he
daughter.
spent
But
6 years obsessed with Jadzia,
yeah,
even though he knew he was not going to get her.
true. Well, I suppose you could say that heterosexual men are going to hold tight that he was chasing women.
I know. But maybe he's Bipan, whatever. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
this is the 24th century.
Yeah.
I don't think people
Yeah.
care that much.
They're not settled on the one thing.
Exactly.
Are they? The label isn't important.
And also, this is a holographic version
and
of
that's
Bashir.
it.
So
That's it. And
it's
from a different universe.
from a different universe.
You know, it's completely not the Bashir we know anyway. So there
Exactly.
shouldn't be any pushback.
And of course, Harry Kim that we mentioned, and we mentioned that we looked for the pips. So Harry Kim's from Voyager, and in the 7-year run of that show, never got promoted.
Everyone else
Despite
did.
other people getting promoted. Tom Paris, I think, got promoted, demoted, and then promoted again.
Yeah, he did indeed.
And he's wearing, and some of the Harry Kims are wearing the flight suit from that space race that they done in
Yes.
Voyager.
Yes, the grey and white one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. I like that flight suit.
All right. Well, that's those characters that I just wanted to mention, talk a little bit more about before we moved on. So this Harry Kim beams in with 2 pips on his collar instead of 1, signaling that he's a lieutenant, not an ensign. All this dimension hopping has turned Captain Boimler very cynical, assuming the big bad to be some derivative remix like Reverse Picard or...
Human Wharf.
Yeah, human war.
But his mood changes when they rescue the latest Rift refugee, a mariner. And she's freaking out. Boims, I think that's T'Pol. So they've got a mariner from another universe, and their friendship is obviously transcended. He's excited to see her. She's excited to see him, even though these two people don't actually know each other.
True.
After the latest rescues, the Anaximander takes a break. Between barb exchanges, T'Pol shows she clearly cares for Curzon, who seems determined to live life to the fullest and soak up experiences for the Dax symbiont. Sodium intake be damned. While the Doctor couple argues over which reality they will settle down in once the mission is over.
Which is such a typical argument between those two characters.
And the way they wrote Garrick is just spot on.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of like blasé, kind of manipulative.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the guy that plays him, I think Andrew Robinson, has not lost the touch. Like,
No.
he's
No.
still Garrick.
He's got it. Yeah.
Perfect.
He's
Absolutely
made for it.
perfect.
Yeah. Newly rescued Lieutenant Kim can't get over being the only one to ever get promoted, but his brothers seem okay with it. As for the Mariner, she is no danger-loving chaos agent like the one we know, but a great engineer who has figured out how to track the Rift Maker, which perks up Boimler big time. The captain is super determined to finally end this Fissure Quest so they can tech the tech to set a trap, and soon enough a rift opens and a weird old ship comes through. The enemy tries to escape through another rift. Both ships get damaged and they're forced to land on a bog planet. Exiting the Anaximander, the crew, without the docks, is confronted by Kowapians, who throw them in jail cells where they meet the crew of the ship they were chasing. Vulcans and humans wearing Enterprise-era uniforms, and they are complaining about an unprovoked attack. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Were you both like, what?
I
loved seeing the Enterprise-era uniforms.
Yeah,
just
me
FYI,
too.
Yeah.
again. I know
Yeah.
we saw them on Starbase 80, but...
as soon as I saw Lily, I knew, like, you couldn't not tell who she was, right?
Oh, yeah, that's...
Like-
yeah.
As soon as she walked in her frame, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I did too.
Yes. So for those listening that might not know, Lily is Lily Sloan, who was the engineer responsible... Well, let's be honest. She was responsible
Yeah.
for the warp drive creation and flight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Digging up enough titanium to build
Yeah.
a 4-meter cockpit.
Exactly.
That's right.
Zephram Cochrane might have got all the fame and the credit,
Yeah.
but
She
from
done-
the movie First Contact, I think she did most of the work.
Yeah, she done the hard work. Ephraim Cochrane might have created the idea, like he might have actually done the
Yeah.
blueprints, if you will, but she fucking nailed it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, so she's made an appearance here in an Enterprise-era uniform. While Lieutenant Kim grumbles about how he and his brethren are segregated to their own cell, Boimler argues with the other captain, revealed to be Lily Sloan. She knows nothing of warp drives. Instead, she and her Zephram Cochrane invented the quantum reality drive. Her beagle is on a multiverse mission of peaceful exploration, avoiding contact due to their own version of the Prime Directive. They had been closing each fissure they had created, unaware the ship was simultaneously creating a dangerous additional fissure each time. Boimler realizes that his villain quest was really all over a quantum misunderstanding.
Yeah, which makes complete sense. Like, it was such a good thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no villain.
No villain. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Everyone involved had the best of intentions.
Yeah. Yep.
Right on time, Garrick, who is no plain simple surgeon, shows up with Curzon's batleth to take out the guards. The crews escape the prison and work to repair the Beagle to get everyone home to the right realities. Captain Sloan breaks through Boimler's meta-adversity, explaining she has discovered much about what humanity can be across the realities. But before they can become besties, the Beagle unexpectedly takes off without them. Everyone runs to the Anaximander while Curzon relishes in taking on more Cowopians, and they take off to give chase, discovering who stole the Beagle. It's the Kims, the Harry Kims.
Yes.
Lieutenant Kim has definitely taken a dark turn, determined to take the Kims to his universe to rank up, but they aren't happy he tricked them into this insurrection. Mr. Two Pips ignores Lily's warning that the unrepaired Beagle is now a bomb that could destroy the multiverse, and he opens up a rift. The good guys are too far behind to catch up, but Engineer Mariner finds her inner danger seeker and uses a painful gravity fix so they can micro jump into the fray. Things on the bridge are also tense as Boimler takes the wheel when Curzon has to be taken to sickbay, fatally wounded by the Cowopians. With no other trolls on board, his genuine friend T'Pol is there to take on the Dax Katra as the doctors take a moment to share their love too. On the Beagle, the Ensign Kims rise up to fight their crazed lieutenant, so he beams them to the Anaximander with a villainous laugh. And then the Beagle blows up. But the damage has been done and the rift grows, threatening all realities. Lily says a directed soliton burst could direct the damage into a single reality, but how do they pick a universe to endanger? Captain Boimler has the answer. His reality. He trusts his friends, Tendi, Mariner, and Rutherford, will find a solution. He also sends a message to his counterpart explaining things, which will be fine if Boimler Prime doesn't freak out. We cut back to the Cerritos bar, and Boimler's freaking out.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we're all going to die.
So good.
And then it's to be continued. That is the end of episode 9.
Did anybody notice in sickbay how the Pride Rainbow was coming down on all the patients?
No, I didn't.
No.
It was quite funny.
Fantastic.
That was a good moment between them, though, like, to finish their little short stories in the episode, you know, T'Pol and oh shit,
Curzon.
Thank you. T'Pol and Curzon having their moment, you know, because there was a fair bit of tension between them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like, we didn't have much time with them,
No.
but they still managed to put in enough emotional of story in the short time. I really liked it.
Yeah, and it was the same with Garrick and Bashir as well,
Exactly.
right? They
Yeah.
resolved their little conflict about where they're going to settle.
Yeah.
So yeah, they introduced them with these tensions and then resolved them before the episode ends.
Well,
Yeah.
even that evil Harry Kim did when he asked them to take back the beautiful, underappreciated Harry Kim's back to the Anaximander.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they've done such a good job in putting enough character in each one in such a short time and resolving it in a good
Yeah.
way. Like, it was just really well done. I was really impressed.
It felt jam-packed for a really short animated episode,
Exactly.
right? For a 20-something minute episode.
Yeah.
There's a
lot went
lot
on.
in there.
Yeah, I had to watch it twice just to go, did I miss anything?
Yeah. Like it was,
I may have gone on a bit of a Garrick watch fest after this.
I don't blame you. He's such a good fucking character.
He's so good.
Like he's just brilliant. You know, Trek like is one that stands out. Like
Oh, for sure. So what is the life lesson of this episode?
Trust your friends, I think. Put trust and believe in your friends if you can really trust them.
Be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Be a gay holographic doctor
Or Cardassian spined Taylor doctor.
That's it.
or a Lieutenant Harry Kim.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to be promoted to be the best version of yourself.
No. Well, that's very true. Now it's time to talk about the series finale of Lower Decks.
No.
It's not good.
Season 5, Episode 10. It is called The New Next Generation. Written by series creator Mike McMahon. Directed by Megan Lloyd. Let's go straight into the recap, shall we?
Yeah, go for it.
Again, thanks to trekmovie.com. Sponsorship pending. After a Klingon cold open, introducing us to vengeful Relgar encountering the reality warping fissure from the last episode's cliffhanger, we are back at the Cerritos bar to catch up with our lower deckers, reminding us of their season arcs. Mariner finds joys in being a junior grade officer. Boymes obsesses over his alternate pad self. Talene and Tendi are technobabble twins, but Rutherford complains old Cerritos tech isn't up to his advanced cybernetic standards. Brad's brief freakout over the terrifying warning from his transporter twin sends him and Mariner straight to the captain, and it turns out to be surprisingly easy to convince her, alt to Paul and all. Starfleet Command is also in agreement. All of reality is about to be destroyed.
No big whoop.
And the rift is surrounded by a field that can transform you into random multiverse things, like giving you a cactus for a head.
I mean, come on.
Weird. They do have a fix for the rift. They can shoot it with a graviton beam and have a sort of shield workaround for the whole multiverse transforming thing. Because it turns out all the important ships like the Enterprise are too far away to get there in time. So it's up to the Cerritos to work it out.
Which they're all absolutely pissed about.
Yeah, they're not happy.
Carol's loving it.
Yeah, they're all like, come on, seriously.
Meanwhile, Ma'ar's fierce delivery van is attacked by Relgar, who uses the ship she lost in the cold open as a pretense for revenge. So Ma'ar's delivery van that we just mentioned was from the Farewell to Farms episode with the Klingon brothers.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, Ma'ar and Maylor.
Yeah.
So Baylor warps them to the Cerritos for asylum, ignoring his brother's protests. Freeman and her crew are busy reconfiguring the ship for the quantum stuff, for which the hull may not be protected. So she doesn't have time for all this Klingon business. But she grants them safe harbour.
Because Mariner was his Chadich.
Yes.
Chadu.
Correct. Relgar, with her tiny little hideous micro-targ.
Oh, that was... That's your warthog.
Yeah, that's right. It reminded me of the ugly dog in Deadpool.
That's it.
So Relgar shows up. Carol doesn't want to hand over the brothers, but an oddly curt message from her husband, an admiral, orders her to do it anyway. But she can't find them. While the Cerritos crew are searching for a missing Maylor, Relgar ignores Freeman's good faith gesture of sharing the quantum shield fix and attacks, with the Cerritos just warping away after taking out one of the bird of preys. Things get freaky when they arrive at the rift, where the Schrödinger possibility field transforms the Cerritos into a Freedom-class ship. And before Tendi can nerd-splain single nacelle ships, Relgar's fleet shows up, again with the Klingons, who chase them into the fissure zone, where one Klingon ship turns into a very old barge.
And they all go floating off.
Yeah.
They do.
So great.
Things are chaotic on the Cerritos as Tendi and Talin argue over energy allocation. Rutherford grows more frustrated with the outdated tech, and Ma argues with Mariner about after Boimler's cheat pad reveals Becky Freeman hid Maylor in the alternate universe.
What about when Carol's like, how come the Klingon ships aren't changing as much? And the doctor's like...
It probably did.
they all look the bloody same.
Yeah. They're always turning their ships into fucking birds or some shit.
They do always look the same.
So good.
Shax barely has time to fanboy over the ship transforming into a powerful ISS Cerritos when the engines cut out, leaving them dead in space at the mercy of the Klingons. Relga threatens to board the ship, and Ma demands Boimler hand over his precious pad, but Brad refuses, snapping his alt universe cheat sheet in half to show his solidarity with Mariner, who he believes didn't hide Maylor. And he was right. Turns out it was Ransom who hid Maylor. Jack knew the captain had to follow orders, but felt something was wrong with Admiral Freeman's message, and he was right. Proven when Keishon works out the order was faked. Things calm a bit on the bridge, but they are still at the mercy of the Klingons. But now Billups has his big idea moment. Relga calls over for some taunting, but Freeman is cocky. Cut to Ollie on the hull using her demigod powers to zap away the Klingons' quantum shield, which leaves them exposed to be devolved. Relga's flagship is quickly destroyed in proto-Klingon infighting. Back to the main mission. The ship gets transformed again, rotating through a variety of famous classes until returning to the original design. Now it's Rutherford's moment as he has an epiphany. This old ship is just what they need as he literally dives into the warp core, rips off his incompatible eyepiece, and wows the engineers by reconfiguring the ship to use the energy of the fissure to power them back up. They head into the center of the universe-destroying storm, but the weirdness splits the ship into two quantum possibilities, with each ship controlling the other. Now it's time for Tendi and T'Lyn to harness their science besties' powers, trusting each other to reunite the ship. The Cerritos finally makes it to the rift, ready to close it for good by firing the beam. And it doesn't work.
Fail.
As they stare into universe-ending defeat, Maylor shows up and says something wise about rivers and farms and dams, which sends Mariner leaping into action to reconfigure the beam. The rift stops weirding out and stabilizes into a permanently open gateway. With time running out in the series final, things speed up. Ma is given Relga's fleet and pieces out. Starfleet moves Starbase 80 to oversee the new gateway, with Captain Freeman transferring over to Starbase 80, now in charge of exploring strange new realities. Cue the tearful hugs and goodbyes, but no time to dwell as we return to the bar for Rutherford to show up without his implant, looking very handsome to a flustered Tendi. The lower deckers are impressed but confused when Mariner arrives, seemingly chill with her mum leaving. Beckett is inspired to voice over a lovely montage celebrating the Cerritos mishmash of people and various creatures that don't fit in anywhere else. A family that gets the mission done and a testament to the captain that brought them together. On the bridge, it's time to meet the new CO, Captain Jack Ransom.
Yay.
He takes a moment to compliment Rutherford's engineering and excites the two science besties with a mission to check out some talking goo. As for Mariner and Boimler, he shocks the pair by making them co-provisional first officers, which he assures them is a thing.
Sure.
They protest this command competition, worrying it could ruin their friendship and espousing they are still lower decks. But he believes they can make it work, pointing out the new reality. They are now in charge of lower decks. With groaning acceptance, they take their seats beside the new captain and immediately fail to talk him out of a workout-themed catchphrase. Engage the core.
Yeah, I had to giggle at that.
Yeah.
Though with Mariner's words, this isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning. But sadly, that is actually the end. The end of this episode and the end of Lower Decks as a whole.
And I feel like they've left it open for a new show.
They've definitely left it open.
Yeah, there's a lot of avenues that can be done there. Yeah.
How do we feel about that being the last episode of
I hate
this
you,
amazing?
Paramount Board of Directors. That was a really good episode, though, but fuck you, Board of Directors.
I don't get why it's ending, really. Like,
I thought this was a really good
it was.
send off to the crew, really. Setting them up for a decent future, acknowledging their progress. I thought the whole Fissure arc in the season was really good.
Yeah.
Looking at the season overall, I probably would have moved that first episode we talked about today, that Upper Decks one. I probably would have moved that earlier to the season.
Yeah.
So that there was like a bigger build to the Fissure stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a pretty minor criticism, really. I think these last two episodes were fantastic.
They were. And I really like the Harry Kim touch, though, too.
Yeah.
Like that was just brilliant. I'd love to see an ISS Harry Kim, though. And ruin everything for everyone. But yeah.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen O'Brien somewhere throughout anything that's coming up or anything that we've seen. But O'Brien
or Keiko's daughter. Or
Molly.
Molly. Yeah, Molly would have been nice. But, you know, that's what happens. Because I did say something early on in the series, was it, about O'Brien being the most
important person in Starfleet.
Person in Starfleet. Yeah, no, it's a really good series, so it is sad to see it go.
And good to... It was I like the Klingon aspect of that little shitty targ. But just how they changed into a barge and they weren't scared of killing people in this episode.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
So this is the end of Lower Decks, folks, and we've got some new stuff to look forward to. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and thank you, Grant, for coming in and recording with us again.
Yeah. Excellent.
And for those listening at home, if you want to join in the conversation, please reach out to us on social media at Facebook at Temporal Directive Podcast, or on Instagram, just Temporal Directive, or you can email us at wakefield_productions@outlook.com. We've had a couple of pieces of feedback recently which have been really positive. We really appreciate people taking the time to reach out or leave a review or a comment. We really appreciate that. So please feel free to do that. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.
Thank you.